So welcome to this virtual prayer walk around our garden. I'm not too much of a gardener myself, and I may not even know the names of all the plants in our garden. But since this lockdown, I can appreciate their beauty and their space of the garden more than ever. And these orange flowers, looking to me a little bit like poppies. So we remember those who fight, those who are at war, and those who are no more. And we pray for God's peace. So join me here at my puzzle tree, a puzzle as to how it has grown to be like this. But it helps me think of the puzzles and conundrums of our world, especially at this time. And we pray for our leaders, asking that they may know God's wisdom. These bluebells in their different hues help me to remember the children who would normally queue up to get into school. Or they remind me of our uniformed groups in their different shades at one of our parade services. So we remember children, our schools and teachers and youth organisations, and we pray for them. For a long time we wondered what these holes were in our ground. But then we saw a squirrel, sniffing the ground, looking around, and then digging, and then coming out with a conker and gobbling that down. So as I'm looking at this conker blossom, we pray for those who produce our food, those who sustain us, and those who work for sustaining of the earth. For some reason I have this little island in between all these plants. And so I use this as a place to pray for those who live alone, for those who fear aloneness, for those who also wish they could isolate themselves from the troubles around them. This solitary yellow flower. Amid a groundswell of other plants, this one popped up its head. I hadn't even noticed it until I heard a bee nearby and saw it land heavily onto the delicate yellow petals, the flower bowing over with its weight. Of course, I tried to get a photo at that moment, but it was not to be. Still, I marvelled at this individual flower, found by a bee, and how God finds me, and you, in the midst of all that isolates us. This red fuchsia. Look at those red drops. It speaks to me of those drops of blood that we can think of as we think of that cross. We remember that cross and give thanks again for the love of God that took Christ there. It speaks to me too of the drops of blessings that we receive from God, even in the midst of these difficult, strange times. And these pink flowers, see their beauty, with more to come, more to unfurl. It reminds me of the promises of God and the hope which we have. Now here at this flower, Just a purple flower from the outside, doesn't look like very much, but inside there's such hidden beauty that you only see when you look closely. And so we pray for all who cannot see past someone's outer layer, and all for whose beauty is not seen. This branch just seems to hang over by itself over the garden. It reminds me that we're always under God's care, even if we don't know it, or sense it, or feel it. Take a rest under the canopy of God's care. This tall tree reaching to the heavens speaks to me of the never-ending glory of God and the never-ending opportunities he gives us to receive his grace.